Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem. We've had a main B bus undervolt.
Roger, main B undervolt. Okay, stand by 13. We're looking at it.
And we're live. Good morning to you folks, beaming directly and live from Sydney, Australia. Today we've got a quick live cast, and the live cast topic for today is Heart-Centered Business Blueprint. Now this is the actual blueprint that Trace and I are using for the Awakening Point. It's how we're building it. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you the actual process that we go through day to day in building the Awakening Point. So we've noted down the actual blueprint, and this is it. So the first thing that I want to touch on in the actual process of this heart-centered business blueprint is your story. And this is really the most important part in the whole process, because this is where it actually starts. And your story is what's going to be communicated through your business in how it goes forward and starts to build its audience, which is your audience. So remember that your business is really just a reflection of you. So the inner hustle work that we put into ourselves and finding our authentic voice, this is the work that we engage in before we actually get the business crystallized. So in doing the inner hustle work, we start to develop our story, and from that reflection, from that inner hustle work, we'll crystallize our message, the message that we want to send out to our audience. And our story and our message is communicated through the work that we do in our business. It's communicated through social media. That's the platform that we use to grow our audience. And all of the work that you're doing, putting out there to grow your audience, whether it's memes or blog posts or videos, live casts like this one, irrespective of the many various tools that you will employ to build your audience, it's all going to come from your story. And in telling your story, you'll be building your audience that way as you're connecting with them emotionally. So how you make them feel is really the most important thing. And that's your real product of your business. So the real product or service that you're providing is how you're making your audience feel as you're communicating your story and your message to them. And that story and message is really your values, what your business is all about, what it wants to achieve, why it wants to achieve that, how it goes about doing that. All of that is shared with your story. And you are basically sending out small snippets of your story and your message every day to build that audience. Every day, day in, day out, consistently over time. And when we say over time, we're referring to pretty much around about a 6-month period initially, but that 6-month period could easily blow out into 12 months or 18 months. But we'll stay with this 6-month period to start with, and then during your launch, during the period where you're resetting your sales and and growing your audience for real out there every day, that's when you'll realize how that initial 6-month period is going for you, or whether you'll need to extend it out. So your story and message is where it all begins. Once you've got your story and your message down pat, and again, like this is a process of inner hustle. From your inner hustle will come your story and your message. Once that's done, you'll set a basic budget in which you can start to share your story and the message of you and your business out to your audience. To start with, that budget may be, say, $50 a week. So we would concentrate on the first 6 months being sending out maybe 3 or 4 memes, and those memes would be an appropriate image with an appropriate snippet from your story, communicating your message out to your audience. And we'll get to how exactly you do that, the nuts and bolts of doing it. So that budget, let's say it's $50 a week to start the ball rolling, to start your business growing its audience, which is phase 1, which is the most important thing. You will always stay in phase 1, irrespective of how far down the track you are, because you constantly need to be building your audience. So your timeline we touched on to start with is going to be around about a 6-month period. Your website, you will learn how to build your own website. Building your own website is great because you're in total control of the process. This entire process is something that you want to consistently be moving forward authentically. So you don't want stop and starts all the time. You don't want to be outsourcing really any part of it unless you have to. And let's face it, sometimes you will have to, but for all the rest of the times that you don't have to outsource, you'll be doing this yourself. The way that Trace and I do it is our website is it's on a WordPress platform with a specific template, and you can get lots of different professional templates where you can build your website yourself, and in due course we'll show you how we do that. So you'll also need your own Facebook page for your business, exactly like we've got our Facebook page for The Awakening Point. And through that Facebook page, that is where you will communicate your story and your message every day through things like memes, through things like blog posts, through things like videos. And irrespective of what business you're in, this is a format that will work for you in building your audience without boring them to tears with facts, but more kind of like interacting with them, because it's in the interaction that you have with your prospects, with your audience, in that back and forth, that's where you will grow. That's where you will learn how to reset your sales, in how you share your story, in how you share your message with your audience, in setting your budget, in extending your timeline, in how to improve your website and your Facebook page, and the interaction that you have on all those mediums. So that all happens with you actually engaging with your audience. And this is a really, really important point, because without that engagement, you don't really have anything to build on. You don't really have a foundation to start growing on. So you start this process by starting. You won't be ready to start, but you just take a step. And in taking that first step to doing the inner hustle, to getting your story straight, to getting your message, to setting a humble budget like $50 a week in sharing your story and your budget, in starting to learn how to build your website through WordPress, in starting your Facebook page and sharing bits of your story, sharing your message out to your audience. That's how you'll start getting 1, 2, 10, 20 likes on your page. And from there, as you start to interact with those people, you start to grow. And growing that way is the best way, because you're growing from your own direct experience. Instead of watching, YouTube all day, or instead of reading books all day, which, don't get me wrong, you need to do all these things. But as far as your own personal growth and as far as your own business goes, the true growth happens through direct experience, through you taking a step and actually doing it. So your Facebook page, you will be boosting out memes that you're creating on canva.com. For those of you who are in our Awakening Point Facebook group, you will know what Canva is, and you've seen the screen shares that I've done of how we put together memes, how easy it is, how quickly it can be done. And that's the basic blueprint of how you grow your audience. And once you've grown your audience to the appropriate size, that's where you start to make offers to your audience. And in making those offers and engaging with them, the interactions between you and them is then how you reset your sales and move forward from there. So point number 9 there, resetting your sales, applies to all the 8 points above it in this process. And that's how you get the ball rolling in this thing. So this process applies to anybody who is thinking about starting or has already started and is in the process of launching, or already has an existing business, whether you're involved in an app, whether you're a car detailer, whether you're a psychic or a medium, whether you're running a non-profit, whether you're running a dry cleaning business, a coaching business, whether it's contracting events, or you're a performer. This process applies to you, because all businesses need an audience. And as you start to build your audience and connect with them on an emotional level authentically, by naturally telling your story and sharing your message, as you're constantly building your audience, this is how you're building your business. This is the backbone of building your business. It's territory that you can always call home, and you will always know which direction that you're heading in, because you've got like a basic plan. And it really doesn't need to be any more complex than this, given the plan gets broken down. And as we go further down the track here in this process, I'll continue breaking each one of these points down, because each one of those 9 points is a live cast in itself. And then the categories of each point are also live casts within themselves. So the inner hustle work that we do on ourselves, and what's been holding us back, facing our fears, outgrowing our fears, finding the courage to interact with all the people around us, with our audience. And then within those interactions, growing and really bringing the inner hustle work that we've done into the real world and applying it in those interactions that we have with our audience. That authenticity really crystallizes our outer hustle path. And as we start to crystallize the outer hustle path, that's where we find that we get into a flow state where it's just blurting out and we're just naturally moving forward down the path. And authenticity is really the key to success here. It's all one thing, but we break it down into smaller milestones. We break it down into smaller categories, but you'll find that your inner hustle and your outer hustle overlap each other and form one path. Because as you're dealing with what's blocking you internally in your inner hustle, as you outgrow that, as you deal with that and move forward, your outer hustle journey becomes clearer, and you're just working on it. You're walking, you're taking steps, you're moving down your path. So that authenticity in your inner hustle work right at the start in getting your story right. Who are you? What are you really about? What are your values? What's what you want to do? What's all that about? As you're getting all that stuff down pat, it's going to be so much easier down the track to get your outer hustle stuff in motion. And that really translates to success. So your true product is how you make your audience feel. The direct experience that you give them when you're interacting with them in sharing your story and in sharing your message. And that is how Trace and I are growing The Awakening Point. This is the process that we're using to engage with our clients in helping them through this process of, getting their story clear, getting their message clear, helping them set a humble budget to get them started, setting their timeline with dates and milestones, showing them how to get their website up and running as well as their Facebook page, showing them how to transmit and share that story and message through memes and blog posts on WordPress, Canva, through their website and their Facebook page, and then just getting the ball rolling on starting to grow their audience. This is the process that we're going through. It's exactly the process Trace and I go through day in, day out. It's quite simple. And really it comes down to, will you do this one day, or is today day one? That choice is yours. And I want to thank you guys for joining me on this live cast. And later this week, tomorrow actually, we've got 2 live casts. Our first live cast is with Ron Cardillo from Within Us app. That's going to be absolutely awesome for all you guys who are working on getting apps ready, or if you're a techie in any way, or you're part of the MBT community, or you're in the process of launching your own startup. This live cast tomorrow with Ron Cardillo is going to be definitely something that you don't want to miss. And then straight after the live cast with Ron, we've got another live cast with Victor Aquaro, or Victorio, and that one's going to be an absolutely brilliant live cast where we kind of like open up the process of Victor and I, our weekly connections. We're going to open that up to everyone else to jump in and have a look at our sessions that we run through each week. So, and they're going to go back to back tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Sydney time with Ron Cardillo. And then when that live cast is over, we'll plug into the live cast with myself and Victorio. So until then, have an awesome day, guys. And of course, if you've got any questions in reference to today's live cast and this process that we've outlined, throw us a line and don't be shy. So look forward to connecting with you guys further, and bye for now.